Steve Petrata here along with Mr. James Haley from the Blade team. Today we're talking about the brand new Manta FPV. Now James, we saw this probably almost a long time ago, almost a year ago, from the guys at Immersion RC. Tell me a little bit about the connection with those guys and how it kind of became a Blade product instead of something directly from them.
Yeah, so Immersion obviously had kind of announced it a while ago, and it kind of faded away a little bit. You know, they kind of had other priorities with the Vortex Pro and everything. So, you know, we kind of worked with them on it in the background, kind of said, hey, you know, how can we bring this to market? You know, I think the airplane stuff's really cool, FPV. So, you know, kind of just worked on it with them, figure out some completion levels, and try to bring it together, you know, in a bind and fly package.
So tell me a little bit about this. Obviously, you said bind and fly. It's going to have pretty much everything in the box you need to FPV minus your radio and goggles. Yep. But let's go through some of the component level. This, first of all, this is a true FPV wing. It's what it was made for. It wasn't intended to do line of sight, although you could.
Yeah.
It's designed that you could race with it. It does fit in the multi-GP classes of racing. Of course, you could race at your local club and everything like that. But let's go through the components. So we've got the motor on the back, and let's just go through everything on the aircraft.
Yeah. So the motor off this one is actually off of the helicopter, the 360, and kind of just we had it there for testing, so we were trying it out. It's the right KV, and it actually worked out really well. So we kind of just repurposed the shaft in it and made it so, you know, it could spin a prop, and you know, it worked out really well. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this hatch here, and this is just, if you guys see, this is just a half turn. They're kind of spring loaded, and then the hatch comes right off. So what do we have, or what is the hatch intended for? What's inside here? So it'll fit a 3S 2200 or like a 4S 1800 in there. It's kind of your max size battery. Sure. I run a 4S 1300. It's a little bit snappier, but if you're kind of doing long range cruising stuff, 4S 1800, 3S 2200 is perfect. It'll bounce out with all of those batteries in there, kind of right on the CG point. The receiver, we have AR636, so it does have 3 flight modes in there. So what we have is launch mode, so really cool. It's self-leveling. Also, as you add throttle, it'll start to climb out. So it really makes, you know, even launching in the goggles, you know, a breeze.
Super
you know.
easy.
Then we have cruise mode, which is basically the gains are a little higher. Really kind of keep it real smooth, going up high, kind of low throttle, just kind of.
Yeah, it's not made for super fast, but it's
cruising around the sky, you know, getting good footage. Yep. And then we have speed mode, which is a little bit lower gains, just made for, you know, full throttle yank and bank.
Yeah, and so the safe mode is on these. It doesn't limit the pilot by any means. The first mode is a launch mode, so there is limitations, but the other modes are there for you to fly and not really be limited by the software. It's
the cruise mode, you know, if you're coming, it does have angle limits. So, you know, if you're on a racetrack and you're really trying to push it, and maybe you aren't super comfortable, you know, knowing your limits there, it won't let you kind of, you know, flick out. So
there's a little bit of limit there.
Well, it doesn't have self-leveling, so it still feels natural when you're flying.
Right. Okay, and then on the front of here, tell me about the FPV camera. And
the little wooden cage here. So there's a spot here for the GoPro, Hero 3 or 4. Okay. Fits in there, not a session, but silver or black, any of those. If you don't want to run a GoPro, you do need to replace the weight in there. It's roughly 100 grams. Yeah. And then for the FPV camera, we have the 700 TVL V2 CMOS with a 2.1mm lens. Gives you that really wide angle. It's really cool when you're going up high doing loops and stuff. You know, that gives you a lot of field of view when you're trying to make a turn or something. Yeah. With a fixed camera.
So video transmitter, obviously we got something big in this, right? We're going longer range than we would a normal mini quad.
So it's got a 600 milliwatt in there. Okay. Just allows it to, you know, go a little bit farther. You know, with a wing, you never really want to be limited to range.
Yeah. So that's going to be inside this cage down here. Yep. And on this side we've got it's kind of an empty cage, right? That's just an empty cage, and the servo wires go through here. So these are Metal Gear servos, right? Yep. And then we have a Castle
Talon
35 in there for power, so you can, it's fully adjustable through the Castle suite.
Yep. Want to change motors and, you know, low voltage cut off any of that. Fully adjustable.
So really this thing is kind of fully equipped out of the box. How much assembly is there required?
So, you know, we think bind and fly in the quad realm. Sure. You pull it out and go, charge the battery. In the airplane realm, there's a little bit more work to do. It's in a pretty small box, trying to keep shipping costs down and everything. So you will have to glue on this outer wing panel here and snap on the control rod. You will actually have to bolt on the motor. It's 4 bolts. It's kind of hanging down underneath right now. It'll all be soldered and everything, but just to get it in a smaller package. Okay. You can use CA, or would recommend it's really about 15-minute epoxy, just kind of keeps it cleaner. And
yeah. So real minor, really, you could be up in the air in 30 minutes or less, but probably by the time you charge your battery.
Yep.
So what kind of speeds are we getting at this?
About 90 miles an hour on 4S. It's actually
fast.
Yeah, on 3S it's not much slower. You can always change the prop. A wide variety of APC propellers. For if you want to run 3S or 4S, it doesn't really matter. So
that's quite fast, and obviously the range varies how much you're in the throttle.
Yep.
Last question I have, since this is a race model, is there a spot for the transponder, like an ILAPS transponder or something like that?
Yeah, left or right side. You could always just tape it on the foam, little packing tape, or you could make a recess if you're going to run it permanently. Nice thing is it's a 5-volt source right in the receiver, so you can just plug it in. Makes it
so
easy.
no weird soldering, just plug in your ILAPS transponder.
There's actually even like right here for a bind plug extension. You can throw that in there, so that way it's easy to take off if you ever want to.
All right, guys. Well, if you were looking for an all-inclusive FPV racing wing, the Manta will not disappoint. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. James, thanks for coming in and talking to me about this. Guys, make sure to check out the Manta online.
Take care, guys.